let's try out one of the most interesting changes that happened in update 38, and that is the bottom pad and actually the middle pad texture. They're kind of connected in with these changes, because the bottom pad now, well, it does a lot of things in regards to the Blade Maelstrom ability, and it also affects the Super Maelstrom ability. So this is going to be super interesting. So first off, we're playing on balance because this is the best map for this tower. I mean, everything is going to line up in the middle, and they're going to do a couple of circles in it, and we're just going to use the ability, and we're going to try clean everything up. By the way, I'm playing on actual chimps. This isn't a challenge, which means that we're absolutely relying on the ability. So if the ability doesn't clean everything up, we are going to lose. So there's no restarting this one. And I brought Pat as the hero, so let me just place Pat here on the left side. I brought Pat as the hero because of a lot of things, and let's just start getting into this thing slowly. So first off, we're going to try and super mega ultra buff the Super Maelstrom ability. Now the thing with this ability is that it gets affected by basically everything. So that's why we got Pat, because when we use the Pat's roar, that is going to make the ability stronger. And basically, even if you get an Alchemist, the Alchemist is going to work. It benefits from the attack speed, from the extra damage, although the Alchemist isn't probably a preferred tower because the brew gets spent very quickly. But alongside of these buffs, you know, a Jungle Drums Village buff is also going to work. Now, one of the changes that happened in the let me just get the sub actually, because we're gonna need camo detection, and we're probably not gonna, yeah, we're not gonna be able to afford a village. So let's just do it like this. Let's just do a 3. I'm actually gonna do a 301 with this one because I played something. I don't remember what I played, but I know that if you have a 300 sub, it's not consistent, I think, in decamoing. So 301 is the better choice. Actually, maybe even a 302. But the thing with this, with the Millipath ability, is that it can get buffed by everything. So this includes, I think I mentioned the Jungle Jumps ability, but this goes for the Overclock as well. And then we're going to get a bunch of other stuff like the cooldown reduction from the top pad village, and we're going to get the Energizer. This sub is not going to go to waste, basically. So what happened in the latest update is, well, the pierce of the ability, the Blade and the Super Maelstrom got decreased by a little bit. And in turn, what we got was, well, a couple of interesting changes. First off, the bottom pad now changes the direction of the Blade Maelstrom ability. So if you get a 041, what's going to happen with the ability is it's going to start turning counterclockwise. And this is very important on maps in which the blues are coming up from the other direction, right? They're coming up from the other side, and if you want to maximize the damage, that's actually a very good change to happen. Now the 042 and the 041 as well, actually, alongside, you know, of changing the direction of these blades, what they also do, let me just get the village, by the way. This is gonna be a, I know that we have a camo sub, but this village is gonna be bought anyway, so it's like, it's not wasting money. And in general, this setup is super cheap, so I don't think we care actually about the money that much. And what also happens with the bottom pad is that it extends the duration of both abilities, both the Blade Maelstrom and the Super Maelstrom. So Blade Maelstrom gets half a second for each bottom pad upgrade that you got, so it's going to be 3 to 3.5, and then up to 4 seconds if you have the 042. And then this also translates to the Super Maelstrom ability, which also gets extended by a lot. And so here is what we're doing today. We're going to try and see if we can get 100% uptime on the ability. Now if we do that, that means that this ability is, well, and this entire setup is going to be basically pretty, I don't want to say broken, but it's going to be pretty interesting to watch it in action, because I don't think anything is going to leak from that thing. I guess one of the problems with this tower and with this ability in general was that it's a super strong ability, but you have to time it, or at least you had to time it. Now, we're probably just going to be able to spam the ability. I'm not sure how much uptime this thing has because I haven't tested it yet, but this uptime I expect it to be near 100%. So that's going to be interesting. So let's get the Alchemist, let's get the 032, and actually I should probably start saving up for the Blade Maelstrom ability next. That's 2.9k. Again, this setup is so cheap. I mean, this ability is like, the 5th tier is 16,000. That's not even expensive when you think about it. And also it's going to get buffed by everything else. So let me just get this thing now. Let's just get ready for the Moab and see how it goes. And Pat is going to be kind of a nice tower, I guess, because what Pat does is he also stuns blues, he kind of stalls them, and that's going to be pretty important in these setups, I feel like, because you're probably, I'm going to try and get the Energizer, we're going to get the primary expertise as well. So if you guys don't know, the primary expertise gives an additional cooldown reduction of 20%, so that's going to be interesting. But let's see what happens with this mob. So that was one knockback. I think I'm going to use the ability now. Let's see what happens. Yeah, and there we go. That's the counterclockwise ability for the first time ever. Now realize that the map and this whole thing has a little bit of its issues because this is the perfect map for this tower if you wanted to test it and if you wanted to do something like this. So on other maps, it's probably going to need some stalls and it's going to need some slows. So towers like the Moab Glue and the Boomerangs are absolutely going to be necessary. And also the thing with this one is that it is the worst crosspath. It's the 032 that you actually need to defend with. And the 032 is not actually the best crosspath because it lacks attack speed and it's not reliable to defend with it. So I guess unless you're directly going for, unless you're playing a map that's very nice to the textures, I don't think that this is well, it's not going to be that useful, or let's say unless you're farming a bunch, right? So if you're farming a lot of money and then you want to do this, yeah, that's going to be very interesting. So looking at this texture, I'm kind of scared of how much you can defend, so I'm probably going to use the ability now. Let's use both of them actually. Let's use the roar and let's clean everything up. And look at that, that was the ceramics on 49. It completely destroyed them. So this is going to get very interesting actually. I'm trying to save up money for the Super Maelstrom. It's 16.2k because I feel like these Moabs are not our, well, let's just say they're not our strong side. So unless we're getting some knockbacks from Pat Flusty, we might, I mean the ability is in a super short cooldown, don't get me wrong, but I feel like we should get this thing as soon as possible. So let me buy it, get the Super Maelstrom, and let's just keep using this thing. So this is an unbuffed Super Maelstrom. Well, it's only got like the Alk buff and the jungle drums, so that's not exactly, you know, that's not too much. We can do a lot better than this one. We're missing a lot of towers. Let's watch the uptime for a second. The uptime is at about, I didn't quite catch that one. So let me get the mentoring on this one and let's see what the uptime on the ability is with the primary mentoring. So that's looking like about what? Like about 70%? Maybe somewhere between 60 and 70%, I think. Yeah, it's looking like somewhere between 60 and 70% because the mentoring gives a 10% cooldown reduction. And yeah, I mean, basically, there's no significant, how do I say this? No significant effort from my side. I'm not even trying, guys. I'm just hitting the button. I'm clicking number 2 on my keyboard, and that's basically it. That's the gameplay. I'm not even using the Path ability, by the way. But again, we're in the 50s, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. So we're missing a bunch of buffs actually. We're missing the expertise buff, we're missing the energizer buff, we're missing the overclock, so that is a lot of things left to buy. Maybe we're gonna get some slows and things like that to kind of set everything up for this guy. But overall, this thing is cleaning everything up. I'm really excited for rounds like 60. I'm a little bit excited for 60. Oh my god, that was a BFB, by the way. So I'm a little bit excited for 61 because there are 45 Moabs on that one, so let's see how one ability is going to do versus them. And I also want to see what happens to 63. I think that's just going to be funny because I expected to delete just everything that appears in 63. So let's watch the 45 Moabs which are coming out right now. That was a knockback actually, so let's use both of them. Yeah, that they're just, everything is getting, oh my god, that was a ceramic wave, holy. Let's watch another one. So it's going to appear now, let's use the ability. Oh my god. You know, guys, I'm not exactly playing this, and I'm not exactly using this Super Maelstrom ability a lot, but this thing is so fun to use. That's so satisfying, and we don't even have our towers, right? So we're at 26,000. We're gonna get the money for your primary expertise now, which is 27k, and this is going to be an additional 10% onto the 10% that the primary mentoring was giving. So that's gonna be a 20% cooldown reduction for this thing. And let me just catch how much. What's the uptime on this ability? I didn't quite catch it that time, so let's just see now what happens. That is, I mean, that looked like about 75%, I think. Maybe somewhere between 75 and 80% uptime, I think. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just see what's going to happen here. So I'm really excited about the Energizer, and this thing is not looking like it cares, basically. Okay, so let's see. There's downtime on this ability. And nope, that wasn't even close. Okay, that wasn't even close. Yeah, so let's just play this thing, and I'm gonna be right back when I get enough money for the Energizer sub. So we've entered free play mode. This is round 82, absolutely no problems reaching this point, and let's just get the Energizer sub and let's watch the uptime on this thing. So you can definitely feel that we're playing free play because these balloons are not instantly, at least the ceramics are not instantly popping. But yeah, let's just see what happens. So a couple of 45 balloons, and let's just watch the wait, was that 100% uptime actually? Let's just watch it again. Oh my god, that's 100% uptime. What did you do? Ninja Kiwi, what did you do? That's 100% uptime on the ability. Let me buy the NG. Let's get the overclock. Wait, is this even balanced? Is this okay? Look at this. It's not stopping. The blades are not stopping. I just keep using the ability and it's just going. I mean, this isn't, let's just be clear, this isn't the setup that you can easily replicate in Chimps mode or anything like that, but it's not particularly difficult either. I mean, let's be honest, the ability is super strong. You're probably getting the primary expertise. It's going to help out a little bit with the damage. You can get some stalls, and the Energizer is not like your typical Chimps tower, but you can definitely get it if you like to. Imagine hooking up a tech bot to this. Actually, we can't do that because it's Chimps mode, but boy, do I want to hook up a tech bot to this thing and just let it go to town. I mean, it's gonna demolish everything, isn't it? That's so good. That's so crazy, actually. Let's just get the overclock now, which is going to make the ability that much stronger. And I'm pretty sure that, yeah, I mean, the only thing that I care about right now is seeing if this thing can... I'm actually not even going to... Do I buy this? I actually won't, I don't think so. Yeah, let's not buy a glue. Let's just let it go to town like this one and see what's going to happen. So I'm kind of curious about these later rounds. I'm curious about DDTs. And I'm curious about, you know, these rounds with a lot of Pierce. So I'm talking about rounds like 96, 98, and maybe the 45 DDTs on 99, and eventually the bad blue, which I'm not sure how this thing is going to handle. So yeah, I mean, it's going to breeze through these rounds, so I'm going to see you guys in a second actually. I mean, it's round 95, and so far it's been just effortless gameplay. What I'm doing is I'm just clicking number 2, which is the keyboard button for the shortcut for the ability, and I'm just hitting number 2, and I don't even care about anything. I mean, this is not even gameplay happening here. I'm just clicking number 2, and it just everything pops for some reason. But yeah, 96, let's see what we're going to do on this one. So I feel like the only problem that this tower might have is the Pierce, if it gets Pierce overloaded, which it's not like it's not that it doesn't have Pierce, it just, they reduce the Pierce a little bit. So I think they put the Pierce onto the top pad, so like the 250 has more Pierce now, and this guy, the 052, doesn't have as much, so it's uptime versus... I don't know, I guess, I don't think we care about the Pierce that much though, at least not right now, but it might be an issue for these rounds like 98, for example. Like, it wasn't an issue for 96, but it might be for 98, so let's see what happens. I mean, it's completely melting these ZOMGs. This is a 45 ZOMG, and it went away in a second, so let me just overclock this thing, and let's just keep using the ability and see how much of an issue the Pierce is. I mean, everything's converging in the middle. Look at this thing. This is so good. So path ability, we're going to have the ability up now. And that wasn't even close, guys. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't worried there for a second. And keep in mind, we don't even have like a call to arms or a homeland to buff this thing even further. This is just insane. Let's see how it does versus 45 DDTs. Does it care? No, it doesn't look like it cares. No, it just pops everything. No, it absolutely doesn't care. Okay, so maybe it's gonna lose to the bad. Let's see if it loses to the bad, actually. Let's wait for a second and let's keep using the ability. Let me use the pad ability and the overclock and see how far this thing can make it. So it absolutely, you know, if we're talking about another map, it's not gonna pop the bat. The advantage here is that the bat is doing circles around it. But again, this is crazy. This is insane. It's 100% uptime on the ability, which is, I don't know, I'm kind of surprised that they let this happen. But there you go. That is the new tac shooter, the 052 tac, which now has apparently 100% uptime on the ability. That's very interesting. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.